Hello dear and welcome back to Retro Robots, the show where we take a look at robots from the past and see if they stood the test of time. Today we'll be taking a look at a robot trio from 2016, the Jesse, Doc and Butch. Yes, these robots are nearly 10 years old now. If you enjoy my content or want to support me, consider watching to the end and subscribing. Anyways, now that we have that out of the way, let's get rolling. What we have is the Jesse with 2 magnums and 2 pins. So we can use the magnums and switch to the pins. This is the Doc with Terrans and Orkans, pretty much the same thing as the Jesse. If we need some high firepower, we can quickly switch to the Orkans and unleash a load and then switch back to the Terrans. And here we have a Butch, which has a mid-range and close range and a sniper configuration. We have the 2 trebuchets for the sniper configuration and we have the Thunders for the close range configuration. Anyways, let's go to a quick match and I'll show you how these robots fare today. So here we are actually on the ship map, which is actually not my favorite map. However, for the Butch sniper configuration, this is actually the perfect map. Here, I don't know, there's like a bug in the game, but like it takes ages for me to actually load into the game, into the match, which is really annoying. But anyways, so I load in, I get my Butch out, and I start sniping here. Look, these trebuchets, they are actually still really strong because they can do a lot of damage. However, the only problem I have with these weapons is they have a really long reload. So like I switch here and look, I need to actually charge my weapons up actually until I can actually have the full potential. And if I actually have the full potential, I still need to actually stand still for a long time before I can actually fire and actually hit the target. And as you can see, this robot is really slow. Something which was really common back in 2016 when these robots came out. Most robots were really slow actually. So this was actually not any different. Oh, it was obviously slow. It was the normal speed for a heavy robot, of course. So here we see an enemy and boom, we do 25,000 damage right there, like that, in like a millisecond. See, I'm pretty much just going here and trying to like keep hold of that beacon here. I don't actually have this support, and I try hitting it, and I get like 20,000 damage. I don't think these trebuchets were fully charged there, so yeah, that's why it didn't do as much damage. But still, like that was still a good hit. See, here I actually was moving while I was shooting, so I actually missed both of my shots. So I go a bit closer to the beacon here, which is what I'm trying to do. And here I see an enemy here. I really want to snipe him. And yeah, and there's many here. There's one. He jumps off actually. So yeah, so yeah, that helps us out. And here there's people, and they actually start shooting me. I think that's a crisis back there, and this is where I start fighting the crisis. And I actually outmaneuver and do massive damage to that crisis there. You saw that there. 26,000 damage to that crisis. Crises only have like 60,000 health, at least at level 1. So this was like half of that crisis's health bar there. And here I snipe again. Boom! I actually miss one of the shots, I think. I only get 10,000 damage out here, which is still alright in my opinion. Here I go again, and I do only 3,000 damage. And I'm just locked on that enemy, just trying to guard this beacon here, because that's all pretty much I can do. And I do another bit of damage before this robot actually goes down. So I actually switch here to the Thunders here, and I actually quickly die right here. So yeah. So the Thunders I pretty much just use as a last resort. So here I'm actually gonna switch now to I think I don't remember. I think okay, the Jesse. The Jesse is really cool. I really love the Jesse. Jesse is by far my favorite one out of these out of the trio, because it looks cool. It's good. The firepower is not amazing. because you could just buy a geo pattern, but for some situations the Jesse is your better option. For example, it's better for beacon capturing. So yeah, it can be a better beacon capture. So here I use the pins with the longer range here to actually hit the enemy far away. These pins actually have a lot of splash damage. So yeah, these pins are actually really good, apart from the fact that they travel really slowly, as you can see. But apart from that, the splash damage, the damage is really good. And for a beginner, I really recommend these pins. Pins over pinatas for every time. I used to say pinatas, but pins are better. I used to say pinatas because pinatas you could dump a load much faster. But nowadays, these pinata rockets, they take so long to get to the enemy, and also the reload is insanely slow here. So yeah, I switched to the magnums, but I want to get some chip damage here, 7,000 damage like that really quickly. And this mobility isn't the worst. It's alright. Here I use these pins before I quickly die against the Tef, because you know the Tef has physical shields, so the pins would go through the physical shield. So here I'm using the final trio robot here. I'm using the Dark, which is actually a really nice setup in my opinion. You have these Terrans for this overall damage, and if I need like any extra support damage, if I need any like quick dumps of rockets, I can always just bring up the Orkans and do massive amounts of damage at close range. So yeah, I think the Orkans still are much worse than the Tulumbuses. In my opinion, Tulumbuses are much better nowadays, and yeah, I highly recommend use Tulumbuses more, but the Orkans are just such a niche. I really like using it. Like here, I'm dumping this and the entire Orkan here, and I did nearly 20,000 damage here, as you can see, to that Minos, which is quite impressive. And yeah, that's the end of my dock, because this Minos sees I'm using a dock, and like for him that's a free kill. So I'm trying to chip in the last damage with these Terrans, because there's no reason to use the Orkans, because the Terrans have like a more burst damage. So here I'm actually moving now to the next gameplay situation here, and I think this is Virtual City. Yeah, this Virtual City here. I'm using the Butch again. This is a really good map for the Butch sniper configuration, because you have this entire massive map where you can use these trebuchets over a large map. I really like the trebuchets. They look awesome. I love these weapons. By far one of my favorite weapons from like the OG war robots. So yeah, let's see what I can do there. Here's a robot. I miss all my shots here. I did only 3,000 damage here, because I was moving, obviously. So yeah, in the description actually of the trebuchet, it actually tells you to stand still in the description. So yeah, that's important to take note. So here I do a bit more damage to that shield here. Not much, however. Here I should go to Thunders, because you know it's close range. Might as well use these Thunders, and they are much more effective than the trebuchets in close range. Look, 20,000 damage, 22, 25, and then I just get cooked by hazards. Hazards or brights, DKs, right? So I just want to chip in more damage before I die, because you know, yeah, Mark II paid to win a Condor here. Oh well. So here I'm gonna actually think along. Sorry guys, I don't know why I thought so much. I should have just spawned in really quickly, but whatever. I was probably just crashing on that Condor here, because it was just so wet. It was so annoying. So yeah, I'm spawning in the dock here with these double, as I already said, but the double Terran, double Orkan configuration here on this dock here, and yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, did you know that all of these Wild West robots are actually named after famous Wild West criminals, except for the one. So the Jesse is named after Jesse James. Butch is called after Butch Cascade. I don't know how to pronounce the surname. And also the Doc is named after Doc Holliday. Holliday is actually, I don't think he's actually a criminal, however. But the other two are. So anyways, I don't really know what I'm doing here, but I'm pretty sure I want to protect that Griffin here. Oh, I remember what happens here. Pretty much, you see that enemy here, the PNDLNR guy, that guy, yeah, this guy here. That's a Griffin. And pretty much what I use is the Terrans on this little griffin here. And look, I do so much damage. I'm using the advantage of the Terrans here because they're above me, so like I can actually fire at the griffin, but he doesn't actually kill me. And I seem to be doing super well. But then, obviously, someone just will steal the kill. Sorry there. My computer turned off. I don't know why. So yeah, I did so much progress, and someone just steals the kill. Unfortunately, at least I get assist for it, which is alright. But I'll prefer to get that kill, which of course would have been a bit more fun and more interesting, more more content, more like it'll be nicer. So yeah, here I'm trying to flank these enemies here actually, and yeah, there's like a flying robot there, and then like I find that a quite interesting target later on. So yeah, I look at him and like he's AFK, so like might as well do some damage here. So I get out these Terrans because they're more accurate, of course, and I start doing a lot of damage here, as you can see. And I actually get the kill, which I actually didn't remember. So let's go. 1 kill of the dark. At least it's something. So yeah, here I'm actually attacking this guy here by a round of ammo. I should have actually switched to the Orkans here. I don't know why I didn't switch to the Orkans for some extra chip damage, but whatever. So I actually switched now, and I miss all my shots, of course, because these are so bad weapons. And here, like, I know I'm gonna die, so I just unleash my load, hoping for like some extra damage. I actually do 30,000 damage, and I bet I hit the other guy as well because these rockets have splash damage. So I bet I hit both of them. Here there's a splash. I used the splash damage on the Orkans to hit this guy a little bit. Not much damage here done. But yeah, here I'm actually gonna probably die now. Yeah. So I'm probably gonna switch to the Orkans. I mean the Terrans, but I get killed from behind. So now I'm just gonna use the Jesse now. The Jesse. Here. So yeah. As I said, I really like the Jesse, but sometimes, I don't know, this seems like a quite slow, light robot. Like, when you look at it, this thing should be running much faster. I don't know why I feel like that. But yeah, it just makes me feel like that this should have been much faster. So here's this Hasterus here, and I'm trying to outflank, and take that beacon. I'm trying to get that beacon here by myself. Here. I think that's a robot. Yeah, there's a stealth robot here. I don't want to risk that, so I hide behind cover a little bit. There's a Titan here, and this guy just starts pushing me out. But yeah, I'm going now to center here to support my allies because there's only one enemy left here in the battle. Now too, but whatever. So yeah, I'm using these pins now. They have 500-meter range. I don't know why now I'm firing. Look at this. Not terrible damage. 10,000, not bad. Not bad for such light weapons, but I bet if you level them out, they could deal some significant damage. And also the splash damage is really good. I think it's bigger splash damage than the Orkans and Pinatas. So here I actually want to get the beacon here. I'm clearly in the red circle to capture the beacon, so I'm like, it should be capturing, but it doesn't. So I move and it starts capturing, but whatever. It doesn't really matter because look at the beacon bar against the enemy's beacon bar, we win anyways. So yeah, leave a comment down below, like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.